One hears the word reservation and the first thing that comes to their mind is
the SC, the ST and the OBCs.
When I hear the word reservation, the first thing that comes to my mind is division. Unending division that has continued to pull the country apart. Last year, 33% reservation for women made the headlines. In fact, the bill passed with no members in the Rajya Sabha opposing it and only 2 members in the Lok Sabha opposing it. You see it as a popular choice, I see it as a herd mentality. Yes, we want to uplift women, we want to empower them because they have been suppressed for far too long. But is reserving seats on the top really the best way to go about it? If we really want a level playing field for women, we need to tackle forms of gender roles and gender biases on the ground level, in schools, in homes, and the society in general. Let's try to answer some tough questions today. How will the caste system ever go away if we continue to keep seats reserved on the basis of caste? When will merit be enough to take someone ahead? The debate about the fairness of someone far more qualified not being able to make the cut because someone less qualified had the seats reserved has long loomed over the country. And yet that's not the only point that I make today. Let's reverse engineer and assume that reservation is really for the best. What happens next? According to the Ministry of Education's data, 58% suicides in IITs, NITs, central institutions are from SC, ST, OBC and minority communities. So if reservation really is an attempt at combating discrimination, why are quota students more likely to die by suicide? Fear of being tagged a quota student is real. Discrimination by fellow students, staff, faculty and a strong anti-reservation sentiment throws these students into a feeling of self-doubt. Wherever we get in life, we can only enjoy the success if we feel like we have earned it. Having seats reserved often leaves a question mark on the students' self-esteem. And let's not disregard the possibility of reverse discrimination. What about a deserving student who had a disadvantage of being from a particular caste that wasn't under the reserved quota? And then there are some from the backward communities who were privileged enough to get access to similar resources like other castes, and yet they stand eligible for the reservation system. How? Another important question that arises is, what's the right basis for reservation? The only quota that makes some sense is the one for the economically weaker section of the society. To truly give them a fair opportunity, despite the lack of opportunities that bred from lack of resources. And yet only 10% has been reserved for such people. Whereas if you look at the numbers, 15% is reserved for SCs, 7.5% for STs, 27% for OBCs and 4% for persons with benchmark disabilities. And the most amusing part is more and more communities are coming up and demanding reservation for themselves. From minorities to even traditionally powerful and economically well-off communities. For example, the Patel community from Gujarat are demanding status as OBCs. It's getting harder to draw the line. So in 1992, the SC had to step in and curb the reservation quota for the entire country at 50%. Historically, the idea of reservation was to uplift some parts of the country that had been left behind. The arrangement was supposed to end in 10 years. And yet, the provision for legislative reservation has been extended every 10 years. The latest one being extended in 2019 until January 25, 2030. If reservation was really going to resolve caste discrimination, why hasn't it already? So we're forced to ask, is reservation truly serving the purpose? Or has it caused talent drain in India? And most importantly, why is reservation still untouched? Reservation is often categorized as a sensitive issue. In fact, like freebies, it has often come in as a lifeline for political parties who are trying to woo the voters by offering them quotas. While the popular choice may be something else, it's not necessarily the right choice. And we're yet to see a political leader, a party that puts the country's progress above their own win. So if reservation quotas aren't really doing that much good, what are the alternatives that we have? Affirmative action is one. Instead of fixing outright quotas, starting support programs that include scholarships, mentorship, training programs to help underrepresented groups succeed. Building these communities from the ground up instead of just unfairly having some seats reserved on the top is always a solution. The question now is, are we going to get offended and take this as an attack on the community, or are we going to really look at the issue, keep an open mind and be willing to talk about something that's very important for the country?